In 1991, game designer Eric Chahi created Another World. This cinematic platformer used rotoscope technology to create lifelike animation, drawing us into a bizarre world unlike anything we'd ever seen before. If the name Another World doesn't sound familiar, it's probably because until recently, the game was known as Out of This World in North America. Shortly after, I saw that Delphine Software, the developer that Chahi worked for, had another game in a similar style called Flashback: The Quest for Identity. I thought for the longest time that was made by Chahi as well. Turns out it wasn't. In fact, Chahi wouldn't follow up on Another World until 7 years later with a game called Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness was released by Interplay smack dab in the middle of 1998 on the PlayStation and PC. On the back of the case, it boasted over 30 minutes of seamless film action, spanning 2 discs. After Final Fantasy VII, a huge selling point for games were how many discs it came on and how many CG cinematics it had. But for me, it was the words "developed by the creator of Out of This World" that had me truly interested. The story goes like this. Andy and his dog named Whiskey are out spending the day relaxing at the park when a solar eclipse opens up a portal to a strange world. Before he has a chance to grab him, Whiskey is pulled into the shadows and disappears. Andy runs home to his treehouse where he has somehow built a spaceship that is perfectly equipped to follow and stage a rescue. While the backgrounds are in a pre-rendered style that we'd come to expect from 32-bit games, the character animation here is the real star of the show. Thousands of hand-drawn frames give character movements such as running, jumping, and climbing an incredibly fluid look. Everything else is given this same attention to detail too, which makes every screen come alive with beauty and danger. Unfortunately, the downside to this is that the controls are very loose and sloppy, where you have to really plan your moves in advance. Andy starts the adventure equipped with a plasma rifle that can just mow down enemy forces, but he loses that advantage pretty early on. Shortly after, however, coming into contact with a magical rock gives an ability to shoot powerful bursts of energy that will be the basis of many puzzles that follow. The puzzles here range from obvious to fairly obtuse. There will be a lot of trial and error, and one thing's for certain: you will die a lot. Come to think of it, there is a lot of weirdness in this game that comes off as a bit more mean-spirited than you'd expect from a game about a boy who is out to rescue his kidnapped dog. Andy can and will get crushed, torn to shreds, eaten, mauled, and burned alive. And all these things are usually accompanied by a yelp, his shoe flying, and his lifeless legs dangling. This weird juxtaposition between the cute and creepy moments aren't limited to the in-game elements either. The CG cutscenes are full of them. At one point, when Andy is taken to the village of these goofy flying creatures that have been helping him out all along, he meets with the Elder, who proceeds to take this huge hit off his drug pipe and blow it in his face. And let's not forget the sadistic teacher that throws Andy into the closet and slams the door.
Oh wow! Afraid of the dark?
Or when one of the main bad guys gets rolled over by a boulder and his eye pops out.
Oh, sorry.
What? Another proposed selling point is a soundtrack composed by Hollywood conductor Bruce Boughton and performed by the London Symphony. This music wows during the opening credits, but unfortunately, it takes a seat in the background for the rest of the game, only appearing in cutscenes. There is only environmental sounds during the actual gameplay. It seems like kind of a waste, right? The adventure is over much quicker than you'd expect, lasting about 4 hours after everything is said and done. Though I'm guessing once you know the solution to every puzzle, the game could be blasted through in less than an hour.
Are you ready now to face the heart of darkness?
Since Heart of Darkness was released, it has faded into obscurity despite selling alright and doing okay with critics. During its nearly 8 years of development time, I wonder just how much was changed or removed. It definitely wasn't the follow-up to Another World that I was expecting from Chahi, but that was probably due to it not being solely his project. It's not that it's a bad game, it's just that it never comes close to achieving the greatness that I was hoping for.